You know, I've told you guys time and time again, you should not watch our channel if you're trying to be fiscally responsible. And yet, here you are. So, why don't we be fiscally irresponsible together? Virtually any reason is a good reason to do a 2011, AKA double stack 1911 video. Those reasons may include that, I don't know, it was a Wednesday. Or maybe you found out your friend that you thought was smart wound up being a flat earther. How about your mechanic's nephew getting engaged? Yeah, that'll work. So when I was told that Nighthawk Custom had released a new double stack 1911 and kinda forgot to tell anybody about it, that sounded like as good of an excuse for a video as any. And this is all very unfortunate news, because my bank account will never recover from this. Today, my friends, we're looking at the Nighthawk BDS9. It's a new model from them.
Yeah?
We'll talk a little bit about it. Yeah, this has not been out very long, and I don't really think there's been any coverage on it. And here's the first thing I'm gonna tell you, is $6 grand.
Okay.
Which means they ain't giving them away.
No.
Okay, but we're gonna answer the question, is this thing worth the $6,000 freaking dollars?
That was my question.
You know, and we're gonna get there, my friends. We are gonna get there. Couple quick things here. So one, relationship with Nighthawk, kind of how the video came to be. I was talking to them one day. We wound up having this video. It's called the Hunt for Gucci Guns. We run around to some, run around? Is that what I just said? Run around to some different stores in Salt Lake just to see what kind of cool Gucci guns we could find. And inside of Gallinson's, they had a double stack Commanders, a TRS Commander. And I mentioned it, I was like, man, this is really cool. Like, I gotta get a double stack Nighthawk. And then I don't remember how we got to talking, but I was talking to them and they're like, man, we gotta get you guys a double stack to review at some point. And I'm like, say no more, fam. Like, you know, you just let me know when it's in route, dog.
Yeah.
And they're like, we got this new one that came out, and we kind of flubbed the launch a little, and we didn't really get much press on it. I was like, well, you know, again, say no more, fam. Let me know when we got a tracking number.
Yeah.
And so this came out. So the gun was sent to me by Nighthawk, and we'll kind of discuss what my course of action is going to be with the gun after the review. Hint, you can probably go ahead and figure that out right now. So before we get into it, quick thanks to Ciguera, right?
Yep. Belts.
I think all of you guys wear belts. I am reasonably confident, and if you don't, you're a freaking psychopath that doesn't wear a belt. And Ciguera would be a great place to go to get them said belts.
Correct.
We got the inner Velcro, that's what I wear as an EDC belt.
Same.
Very flexible, moves with you very well. There's the Emissary if you want something a little bit more rigid. There's the Battle Wagon if you need that battle belt life. Bunch of options.
Yeah, and I like options.
I like options. The code there is 1911 Syndicates, no spaces, just all lowercase. Saves you 10% off that store, and yeah, check that out. They're good dudes, they support us, we support them, and now you support them too.
Yep, thanks to the homies at Ciguera.
Okay, let's start getting into this. You guys didn't think I was gonna come to set without notes, did you? I'm going to elect on this review today to skip over some obvious design features.
It's a 2011.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? It's like, there's gonna be certain shit where we're just like, yeah, we don't really need to talk about that.
9mm, has a grip safety.
Yeah, but we're gonna talk about what I believe to be some of the big bullet points, if you will, that you're gonna wanna know about. So just a recap for those of you less familiar, Nighthawk custom, the OG in the Nighthawk game, or in the 1911 game, been around for a long time. Their philosophy is one gun, one gunsmith, AKA one gunsmith builds your gun from start to finish. I can tell you that mine was built by Tim.
Tim. Oh.
And if so Tim ever sees this video, thanks Tim. Thanks.
You're a real one, Tim.
Tim, you're a solid dude. And they let you know, I believe it's engraved underneath the grips
panels,
and
yep.
within some of the paperwork that comes in it, it shows who built your gun. I think that's neat. I'm just a sucker for that kind of stuff.
It adds a personal touch, right? Human touch to it. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, if I ever see Tim, I'm like, hey, beer, you want like a natty light or something? Like, I'll get you one.
Natty Light, expensive, bro.
I mean, if that's depending on how, how commissions roll that month and everything, but, in an ideal world, yes. So all the parts on these guns are hand fit. What that means is the parts essentially are oversized, and then you have to kind of shape and whittle those parts down to all mold together, right? So this barrel is made to go with this gun. This grip safety is made to go with this gun, right? They come oversized, and then again, we shape and refine that into being this all hand fit little piece of machinery here, right? So when you hear hand fit and everything, like, yeah, all the parts are hand fit, and that's why you get a tight tolerance gun, because all of this was made to go together. Yes, the gun does have a tight tolerance. It's a very, very nicely fit gun. So the BDS9 specifically is made for really made with the competition shooting market in mind.
Okay.
And this is really Nighthawk's first gun that they've done with that audience in mind. Now, I will tell you, I do not believe whatsoever that limits this to being a competition gun. I think it is perfectly acceptable in a role of being just a workhorse 2011, which is how I have been using it currently. I've not actually run a competition with it, even though I do intend to. What does the BDS come with? So it comes standard with iOS. Typically on Nighthawk, that is an upgrade. iOS stands for, do you know off the top of your head?
Interchangeable optic system.
Yeah, look at that big guy cashing in today. So it comes standard with iOS. What that means, I'm just gonna pull out a couple things here from the case here as we talk about it, because I'm gonna show you some of the stuff that is a little bit unique to this. So, so here you go. So it comes with this. This, you guys may see, is an iron sight plate. So the gun's gonna come with an iron sight plate. And then iOS is very, very smart. All you do, there's a little pin that's up at the top there.
Right here at this side.
Yeah, there's a little Allen key up top, right? So you just take your little Allen key, you just rotate that little screw out, a couple turns, push a little pin out, that plate comes off, this plate goes on, right? And again, it's less than a minute. I mean, we're talking a dummy like me can do it in less than a minute. And that's how you know it's pretty foolproof, is a dummy like me can do it in less than a minute.
And it's cut in a wedge shape, so even if you put on the irons, take it off, throw back on your optic, it should be close to, if not really zeroed.
You should maintain zero.
And a lot of people have tested this and found that to be true.
Yeah, I found it to be true on a Firehawk that we did our first Nighthawk video on, because the plate, or the dot right there is on a plate, okay?
Yep.
The plate's what's coming off the gun. The optic's not coming off the plate. So you're pretty good to go. I mean, like, would I recommend confirming zero if it goes back on? Yeah, I would. But if you're also like in a pinch, I believe you can reliably say, yeah, my dot's good to go.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have to sweat that. So it does come with iOS, and then you would just get, it will be an upgrade, but you'll just pick whichever red dot plate you're gonna want.
Yeah, whether it's RMR, Acro,
Leopold.
T2, Leopold.
Yeah, I don't think T2, but
I was getting a little spicy there.
I don't know about that one. Don't quote me on that one, guys. But so it does come iOS ready versus that being an upgrade, because typically most double stack 1911s from Nighthawk are going to start closer to $5,000, and a lot of times once they're done being built, they're closer to that 6. This just starts at 6, but basically gives you everything you want out of the gates. That's kind of the philosophy here. But the benefit of that, what we're talking about with the iOS, is that again, from a competition shooting perspective, this makes a ton of sense, because now I have got one gun that I can run in multiple divisions. Okay, so now I can run this as an irons. I can run it as a, don't quote me on whatever the red dot classes is. I don't know. I defer to you competition shooters, whatever a red dot classification would be. But you can run the same gun in multiple divisions, and that's really good. Another thing that they're including with this I actually thought was very clever. Let's see if I can find it. So there you go. So this also comes. You know what that is?
It's your slide stop.
Yes, but there's a slide stop in there.
Yeah.
What's
that
the
one
difference?
has texture on it?
No. See, I got you. I got you on this. So here's what it is. That slide stop gets you guaranteed lock back on your mags. This one overrides the slide stop so that your
competition shooters don't want it to lock back on the last round.
Yeah. So the gun comes with 2 slide stops. You're not actually locked back right now, just so you know.
Good call. Sorry.
Just it was just
I was in
my
the takedown
OCD.
area.
My OCD was bothering me.
My bad on camera. Someone's gonna catch that and roast
Yeah,
me.
I know. Don't worry. We already caught it, guys. So that is for if you don't want your slide to lock back, throw this in. Of course, these are both fit to the gun, so it's not like, again, these are just drop-in slide stops. Okay, so let's talk about why you might not want your slide to lock back. So this is a quirk of the 2011 or aka double stack 1911 platform. Okay. Competition shooters might not want their slide, or anyone for that matter, might not want their 2011 slide to lock back for the following. So you'll notice these are 17 round mags. So when I insert this, no matter how hard I insert this, it's gonna limit out based on the base pad.
Yep.
Right? Like there's no possibility of me over inserting this versus, now what does he mean by over insert? I don't understand where you're going with this, sir. Allow me to explain. If I have a 20 round mag, right, that doesn't have a limiter on it, I'll talk about what that is. The tendency you have on these platforms is I go to slide lock, right, and I'm amped up because I'm doing a slide lock reload, and I send that mag home, right, and then I go to chamber around and I'm like, something ain't right here. And if you look at it, what's happening is the feed lips on an extended mag, either a 20 or like the 27, 28 round mags, the feed lips will wind up hitting the ejector, okay?
Because it doesn't have the base pad to stop it from over inserting.
Correct.
Okay.
So there's a tendency to over insert those longer magazines to the point where you're now hitting your ejector. You're gonna malfunction your gun and probably have to strip your mag out. That's not so much a big deal, but this over time or even potentially a short period of time, you might actually wind up damaging your gun.
Yeah.
Right?
Which does happen.
Yes, it does happen, right? So we were in a recent, on our Patreon Red Dot class that we were doing with Panone. Shout out Stevie if you happen to see this video. So he was having this. He was just, you know, semi-newer to the 2011 platform. He had some of the big sticks, right? And he was going to slide lock. He's slamming in those big stick mags and he's having a malfunction. And me and our buddy Kevin, who might also see this, were like, you're hitting your ejector. Like we knew, as 2011 guys, we're like, we know exactly what's happening here because we've all been there.
Sure.
So you're having to strip out mags and everything. So there's a couple ways around this. One, to put a base pad on the 20 rounders that just limits it. So that essentially it has the same effect of this, where you can't over insert it.
Yeah, because that's hitting the mag well.
Yeah, this is hitting the mag well where you go, there's no possibility of me over driving this.
Sure.
The other option, 2 other options. One is to take a little bit of steam off of a slide lock reload. So cool, I'm doing this reload with a 20 round mag. Cool, speed, slow it down just a touch, right? So it's like take a little juice out of the end of it, right? So that you're not just slamming that thing home. The third option is to disengage the slide stop.
Sure.
Right? So Nighthawk is basically looking at the competition shooting market and astute 2011 market in mind, and they're just going, hey, some of the guys aren't gonna want their gun to lock back. 1, because they're doing proactive reloads. 2, because they don't want to potentially over insert and damage their ejector.
Yeah.
That's why they're doing the 2 slide stops.
Yeah.
I know that was a lengthy explanation, but I like to think some of you that don't necessarily shoot a lot of 2011s might have actually learned something on that in terms of like functionally.
Because some people, that's their gripe with that.
Yes.
But in the competition world, they're never running the gun to empty.
No.
They'll always have a round in the chamber and top off with a full mag.
Yeah, right. And like, look, I run all my guns to slide stop, and you know how many times I've done that on a gun? 0. Because I train and I understand what the solution to the problem is, which for me is take that last 10% off of that mag, and just calm down a little bit.
For sure. Simmer down, son.
Yeah. So a couple other features here. Aluminum grip. So it is a nice lightweight grip. It's got their aggressive grip texture. So I will tell you this. I love that grip texture. It is, I'm gonna tell you, it's more aggressive than like my Fowler or my Infinity. I'm gonna tell you it's a little less aggressive than the Atlas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Atlas is the kind of...
Yeah, it's like, it's up there, you know? Yep. Now, I love it. Are you gonna wanna carry this grip texture? Absolutely not. Largely because it's gonna get snagged on all your clothes. Like your clothes, well, like, I know this for a fact. Like even these, like, by the way, guys, these sleeves are not so that we can look cool and start a new trend. It's because we're trying not to get torched all summer in Utah. So everyone relax, you know? But these were getting like all snaggy on it earlier. So it's like, it is bitey, but to me, it's just about perfect. I mean, I love that grip texture.
Yep.
Love it. Excellent work on that. So, Another surprise that I have with this, because this is very hit and miss on 2011s, is that it's compatible with the Surefire X300A model. Okay, the B model is typically what you have to run on 1911s, just because the rails and the frame widths are all slightly different, and typically the A models don't work. Now, I would assume to run an A model because the screws always wind up backing out and your light's falling off. You've had this plenty. So, hey, for me, it's not like a selling point, but it's a big benefit. This is just take an A model.
Sure.
You know, I was a fan of that. Holster compatibility is a little tricky, so I'm just gonna mention this. So this won't wind up being compatible with a lot of holsters. Like, for example, my QBO holster, which is what I run a lot of 1911s or 2011s in. Now, this isn't compatible. It's because of that tri-cut slide, okay?
Yeah.
So you'll see these angle cuts that are on the slide.
Here, here, here.
Dimensionally, that winds up making it ever so slightly taller, and it doesn't fit some of those standard molds. So you will be able to find holsters for this. I'm just suggesting, hey, you're probably gonna have to shop around a little.
Yeah.
So like this and my Fowler are compatible. So if you either have a Fowler or you're like, I know who else makes Fowler holsters, cool. There you go. There's probably your option that will also be compatible with this.
Cool.
Cool. Price, as mentioned, is $6 grand.
Whew.
But it comes with basically everything that you need. My only 2 upgrades on this are the ambidextrous safety, which runs you about 120 bucks if you add that to your gun. And then the acro plate, which is, I think, like 1 to 150 or something like that. So those are literally the only 2 things that would have been optional upgrades on this gun. Beyond that, that is exactly as the gun comes, 2 slide stops, the iron sight plate, like all that kind of stuff.
Kind of cool.
Now, before we move on, just a quick plug here. If you guys are looking for any ways to support the channel, the 1911 Syndicate is a real estate company, and you can go to 1911syndicate.com and learn about that. And we would appreciate it if you would subscribe to the newsletter. And to be freaking generous, because I like to think we're nice guys around here, here's what we're gonna do. We have 1 Zippo in a particular color that's engraved with 1911 Syndicate logo. That's it. There's literally 1 of 1. On Patreon, they get the black one. I have this one that's kind of this bronze color. There's only 1 of them. Zippo made it as a prototype for me. And we're gonna do a giveaway for that. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna say the 25th person from now that signs up for the newsletter will contact you. We'll send you out a Zippo that literally no one else, myself included, doesn't have.
Correct.
None of us even have it. You will have the 1 of 1. So go to the website. We'll have it linked below. Sign up for the newsletter, and we'll hit you guys with some cool real estate news and all that kind of stuff on that.
It is impossible to get a clean shot of this because it's a mirror finish.
Okay, so let's just give you some shooter thoughts and impressions of the gun. So here's what happened. I go out to shoot with my buddy John. We're taking this out for the first time, and I assume this is gonna be a nice gun to shoot, because why the hell wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
You know, it's a pretty Gucci gun. So I assume it's gonna be nice to shoot. So I jam up some mags, go out to the firing line. I shoot 1 round, and as soon as I shot the round, I was like, shit. You know, like I was mad.
Because it shot nice.
I was like, I don't need this in my life. It's like, I didn't
Such
need...
a first world problem.
It's like, I didn't need this moment right now.
You can give it to me.
I know, but I'm not. It's not gonna happen.
You can pay for it and give it to me.
Yeah, no, I considered that for
My
actually...
birthday's in a week.
No, it's true. I thought about that for actually 0 seconds up until right now, and I'm still giving it 0 thought whatsoever, okay? But it shot real good, okay? Daddy like, okay? Do you like how I look at you right in the eyes when I say that?
Yeah, you licked your lips too, and I'm highly uncomfortable.
Daddy like. I shot it, and basically, look, I knew I was in trouble out of the gates. It shot, if I can be perfectly honest with you guys, better than I anticipated, because I was coming off of a couple months of shooting my Infinity, and just so you guys know, you can ask all you want, we are not doing Nighthawk to Infinity comparisons in this video, because
they don't work.
Frankly, it's never fair. They're different guns. It's rude to both manufacturers. We just ain't doing it here, okay? What I can tell you is they're both really fucking good, okay? There you go. There's your comparison. But here's the deal. So I shot about 300 rounds on it, and then I wound up taking it to that Patreon Red Dot class that we did with Mike Pannone. My plan was to run it for a day, because it was 1,000 round count over 2 days. So 1,000 total over the course of 2 days. I was like, hey, I'm gonna shoot this for a day, and then I'll swap to something else for the other day. So I shot it for the first day, and I was like, I had no hiccups. I hadn't had a hiccup. Yeah. So at this point, I'm about 800 rounds deep. No maintenance aside from me just initially oiling it and shit. And I'm just like, it's a pretty good track record on a gun that's, you know, that tight of tolerance, brand new, not broken in. And I was like, fuck it, dude, I'm just gonna run it the second day. So I get through 1,000 rounds 2 days, not a single hiccup. And I'm just like, dude, I'm at like 1,300 rounds. I wind up putting about another 300 to 400 on it prior to today. Again, no maintenance. So this gun wound up going about 1,800 rounds with just the initial, throwing some oil in it that I did. And I gotta tell you, on a brand new 2011, very tight tolerance, which historically is completely acceptable to have a little bit of a break-in period where you get some stovepipes and some this and whatever. Had nothing. And I was like, man, I was saying in the class, because some people no doubt will see this video who were in the class. I was just like, dude, that's kind of a statement.
Yeah.
Like that gun ran that good.
Yeah.
I was like, that's impressive, man.
I dig it.
I haven't had any hiccups. So anyway, there's that. Prior to today, it was clean, just so I wouldn't like sabotage the video today, but I got the impression it was still going. So I will tell you a couple things that would be on my wish list for the gun. Try to always give you guys a little bit of critical thinking with anything we review, just to go, okay, is there any things that we would do either different or to enhance it or whatever? So I'll give you my couple little things. One of which I did tell, maybe a couple of which I told Nighthawk. So the main one for me is that given that this gun is designed with the competition market in mind, I would like at the least an option for a pinned grip safety. Okay?
Smart.
That would be my preference. I have no issue with that. I haven't had a moment where like I flubbed a grip or whatever and didn't engage the grip safety. But I think on a gun that's designed with competition in mind, I think it'd just be a nice, an option.
Sure.
Just say, cool, I'll pay an extra $50 or whatever and pin that grip safety and just get it out of the way. Because for me, I would elect for that. Like that would be an option that I would elect to take.
Cool.
So that would be one. Next one is the trigger. There's nothing wrong with the trigger. The trigger's about 3.5 pounds and it's, virtually perfect. All I would like to see is, I think it'd be cool if they had an option for, hey, do you want it to be 3.5 or 2? Because again, on a competition-oriented gun,
sure.
I go, hey, look, it's not like 3.5 is like, oh, how dare you? This is offensively heavy. Like, no, it's pretty damn nice. But hey, if there was an option for like a 2 to 2.5 pound trigger on a gun like that, I'd take it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not carrying it. It's not in a duty use for me. It might be in a bedside capacity, but it's just like, I'd probably elect to maybe take that trigger weight down by about 1 pound.
Cool.
Or have the option for it. Next one is, this one's, I don't even truly know if I'm on board with this, but the option for a thumb safety that favors one side, okay?
Yeah, like enlarged on one side over the other?
So like my Infinity has this where basically me as a lefty, which is why I add the ambi safeties on it. My side, aka the right side of the gun, is a big fat paddle that I can also use as a gas pedal. But so basically, I've got a big fat paddle, and the other side is about the same, thickness as this, standard width thumb safety. So Atlas also does this. They do a lot of competition guns. So you go, hey, I think that'd be a cool optional upgrade. Where you go, yeah, I'd give you an extra $100 for that. Probably. I'd have to really think, but I go, I like the concept of it at the very least. And then the last one, maybe an option for a bigger magwell. I don't really care. For me, that's perfectly adequate. For a competition guy, I could see them going, yeah, I'd like to have a bigger magwell. Now, I know you can add them because our buddy Calvin, hey Calvin, if you see this, he threw
he's gonna see this.
Well, he bought one of these.
I know.
Yeah, we messaged when I got mine. It was kind of funny. Sent me a DM, he messaged me, and he was like, dude, and I was like, green light, dude, go find one. Yeah. And he was like, and he found one like the next day. He threw a bigger magwell on his, so like, sure, you can do that if you so choose. So, I guess sort of final thoughts here. I mean, the BDS9, sure, it's labeled as, for the competition market. I really don't see it that way. I see it as being perfectly fine in that role, but not necessary in that, AKA like, yeah, dude, it can just be a damn good 2011.
Cool.
Like, just go shoot the shit out of it.
Yeah, shoot it, run it, have fun with it. I mean, you've been raving about this thing.
I really have. Yeah. It has not been picky on ammo. It has had a less than desirable cleaning schedule. I mean, it's like, hey, we don't always have the luxury of putting about a couple thousand rounds before a gun before we bring you a review. Because it's expensive, it's time consuming, all that stuff. I think you guys hopefully understand that. But it's like, this one got the benefit of getting to do 1,000 rounds in 2 days.
In a class.
And it's just like in a hard use, dusty environment class too. So it's just like, man, this thing truly got a proper review process. And it's like, hey, rock solid, man, thumbs up.
Yeah, the guy that helped design this, I know. So Matt, good job on you, dude.
Yeah, I don't know Matt, but right on.
It's all right, I know Matt.
Yeah. So that's about it on that. I guess if I were to carry this on duty or bedside and some fool decided he wanted to party with me that day,
well,
and threaten my life.
Thank goodness you have firearms legal protection.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's up.
Because if you didn't, you'd be stuck with your attorney fees because they cover that.
Yeah.
When you call because you need help with this situation, you wouldn't have anyone to call. But when you do call, you talk to a lawyer.
I need a lawyer, man.
And it's just smart, good adult decisions.
It
right?
is. It's like
now,
health insurance.
Let's talk about some packages, okay? You have the small package for a single individual.
Everyone, don't take
I have
this.
the extra large package. What that includes is my spouse as well as I travel. So I travel with this large package because it covers me in other states.
No, we've got probably very similar packages.
No, mine's larger.
You're larger. You're larger. Who are you kidding? You probably beat me out. But FLP, apologies for the ad read here, guys. We'll understand.
You win some, you lose some.
But yeah, this code there, 1911, saves you about a third off the different services. Check that out. We'll have a link below.
Yep.
Beyond that, man, freaking party, man. Go get yourself a Nighthawk. Great gun.
Thanks, guys.